the scoreboard. J.D. Power's #1 in initial quality midsize truck. Jeep Gladiator. 0 APR for 36 months. And no payments for 90 days. Shop PremierTroy.com today during Jeep Adventure Days and save thousands. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
We're celebrating our Driver Appreciation Week. We're so happy to have Truckworks here.
We just want to recognize Truckworks for what they do for us. Absolute great partners. They've really stepped up here on Driver Appreciation Week. They came in here, and I mean, not hamburgers and hot dogs, Boston butts, and the grilled chicken, the really, really prima stuff. So, man, we so much appreciate you guys and what you do for us.
While it's Sandals Truck Line, we know one thing. Drivers first.
Welcome to ESPN College Football.
This is going to be wild. Run it.
The 11th annual Riverwalk Wine Festival will be held Friday, October 8th at the Union Station Train Shed. Join the City of Montgomery's Department of Cultural Affairs for an evening of wine tasting, food vendors, and live jazz downtown. Tickets for this charity event are $30, and proceeds will benefit the Family Sunshine Center. Visit mgmcityevents.com today to order your tickets for the 11th annual Riverwalk Wine Festival, happening Friday, October 8th.
Check out the scoreboard. J.D. Power's #1 in initial quality truck. Ram. #1 longest lasting truck. Ram. Right now. Get 0% APR for 72 months on new Ram. Shop PremierTroy.com during Ram Power Days and save. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
It's fall sale days on GE appliances at Bracken Appliance in Enterprise in Dothan. Our warehouses are loaded with appliances. Get great savings on these 4 sets of washers and dryers, starting as low as $449 each or $898 for the pair. Shop now for special savings on GE laundry at Bracken Appliance in Enterprise in Dothan. Take it home with you or Bracken will deliver. Buy local.
Check out the scoreboard. J.D. Power's #1 in initial quality midsize truck. Jeep Gladiator. 0 APR for 36 months. And no payments for 90 days. Shop PremierTroy.com today during Jeep Adventure Days and save thousands. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
Forevermark Diamonds. Beautiful, rare, responsibly sourced. Available at Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry.
Check out the scoreboard. J.D. Power's #1 in initial quality truck. Ram. #1 longest lasting truck. Ram. Right now. Get 0% APR for 72 months on new Ram. Shop PremierTroy.com during Ram Power Days and save. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
Bracken Appliance, the largest appliance store in the Wiregrass, is the place to go to find your dream kitchen. Choose from names like Wolf, Sub-Zero, GE's Cafe Line, and KitchenAid. If a dream kitchen is in your future, you owe it to yourself to shop Bracken Appliance. Bracken specializes in customer service, friendly, knowledgeable sales staff with that special touch to make you feel welcome. Dream no more about your new kitchen. Find it at Bracken Appliance. Come on in, buy local and take it with you, or Bracken will deliver.
Check out the scoreboard. J.D. Power's #1 in initial quality midsize truck. Jeep Gladiator. 0 APR for 36 months. And no payments for 90 days. Shop PremierTroy.com today during Jeep Adventure Days and save thousands. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
We're celebrating our Driver Appreciation Week. We're so happy to have Truckworks here.
We just want to recognize Truckworks for what they do for us. Absolute great partners. They've really stepped up here on Driver Appreciation Week. They came in here, and I mean, not hamburgers and hot dogs, Boston butts, and the grilled chicken, the really, really prima stuff. So, man, we so much appreciate you guys and what you do for us.
While it's Sandals Truck Line, we know one thing. Drivers first.
Welcome to ESPN College Football.
This is going to be wild. Run it.
The 11th annual Riverwalk Wine Festival will be held Friday, October 8th at the Union Station Train Shed. Join the City of Montgomery's Department of Cultural Affairs for an evening of wine tasting, food vendors, and live jazz downtown. Tickets for this charity event are $30 and proceeds will benefit the Family Sunshine Center. Visit mgmcityevents.com today to order your tickets for the 11th Annual Riverwalk Wine Festival happening Friday, October 8th.
Check out the scoreboard. J.D. Power's #1 in initial quality truck. Ram. #1 longest lasting truck. Ram. Right now, get 0% APR for 72 months on new Ram. Shop PremierTroy.com during Ram Power Days and save. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
It's fall sale days on GE appliances at Bracken Appliance in Enterprise in Dothan. Our warehouses are loaded with appliances. Get great savings on these 4 sets of washers and dryers, starting as low as $449 each or $898 for the pair. Shop now for special savings on GE laundry at Bracken Appliance in Enterprise in Dothan. Take it home with you or Bracken will deliver. Buy local.
Check out the scoreboard. J.D. Power's #1 in initial quality midsize truck. Jeep Gladiator. 0 APR for 36 months. And no payments for 90 days. Shop PremierTroy.com today during Jeep Adventure Days and save thousands. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
Forevermark Diamonds. Beautiful, rare, responsibly sourced. Available at Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry.
Check out the scoreboard. J.D. Power's #1 in initial quality truck. Ram. #1 longest lasting truck. Ram. Right now, get 0% APR for 72 months on new Ram. Shop PremierTroy.com during Ram Power Days and save. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
Bracken Appliance, the largest appliance store in the Wiregrass, is the place to go to find your dream kitchen. Choose from names like Wolf, Sub-Zero, GE's Cafe Line, and KitchenAid. If a dream kitchen is in your future, you owe it to yourself to shop Bracken Appliance. Bracken specializes in customer service, friendly, knowledgeable sales staff with that special touch to make you feel welcome. Dream no more about your new kitchen. Find it at Bracken Appliance. Come on in, buy local and take it with you, or Bracken will deliver.
Check out the scoreboard. J.D. Power's #1 in initial quality midsize truck. Jeep Gladiator. 0 APR for 36 months. And no payments for 90 days. Shop PremierTroy.com today during Jeep Adventure Days and save thousands. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
We're celebrating our Driver Appreciation Week. We're so happy to have Truckworks here.
We just want to recognize Truckworks for what they do for us. Absolute great partner. They've really stepped up here on Driver Appreciation Week. They came in here, and I mean, not hamburgers and hot dogs, Boston butts, and the grilled chicken, the really, really prima stuff. So, man, we so much appreciate you guys and what you do for us.
While it's Sandler's Truck Line, we know one thing. Drivers first.
Welcome to ESPN College Football.
This is going to be wild. Run it.
The 11th Annual Riverwalk Wine Festival will be held Friday, October 8th at the Union Station Train Shed. Join the City of Montgomery's Department of Cultural Affairs for an evening of wine tasting, food vendors, and live jazz downtown. Tickets for this charity event are $30 and proceeds will benefit the Family Sunshine Center. Visit mgmcityevents.com today to order your tickets for the 11th Annual Riverwalk Wine Festival happening Friday, October 8th.
Good morning and welcome to Today in LA. My name's Mike Amos. His name is Bill Rice Jr. and on the phone from Grayton Beach, Florida is one Michael Amos. Good morning to all of you this morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
And your guess was no better than mine this weekend, was it?
Yeah, everybody's guess is equal.
Well, I mean, I thought Ole Miss would be in the 30s against Alabama, and I was wrong about that. They barely got to 20.
Yeah. You know, they did score a couple of quick touchdowns in the second half of the fourth quarter to make some people think, well, maybe they are pretty good, you know, where they went up and down the field in the fourth quarter.
Well, they went up and down the field on that first drive, and then that was the turning point. They went for it on fourth down and didn't make it. Alabama goes and scores, and they get the ball back. They go for on fourth down again and don't make it.
That's right. You know, a lot of people.
Yeah, Lane Kiffin almost lost his mind. I mean, I feel like you're going for it at your own 28-yard line against Alabama.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just insane.
Yeah, that's right. And all that did was infuriate Alabama that they dared to do that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And Alabama showed their depth on defense, too. Up front, they were tough. They were really tough.
Good performance by Alabama. Good performance by Auburn. By one Mr. Bo Nix.
Yeah.
He made some plays that we'll be watching 10 years from now on the highlight reel.
Bo Nix looked like Johnny Manziel, Mike, to me, just like him.
Well, you know, I called it all week. I said, but I backed off on picking it. You know, I kept on saying I think Auburn can beat LSU, and I think Bo Nix is the guy that can beat them. I never believed that Finley would start.
Yeah.
Of course, he got in for one series, but LSU had no running game whatsoever. I mean, Auburn, I don't think defensively is known to be, you know, great this year by any means.
And the quarterback's no better than ours, Troy.
Penn State ran it on them, and Georgia State ran it on them, and I mean, LSU couldn't get a yard against them.
Yeah.
So once you get one-dimensional, Max Johnson.
I thought he was very average.
Really, really bad decisions late in that game. He had a guy wide open for probably a touchdown in the fourth quarter and overthrew him. And then late in the game, you know, made a couple other bad throws. They had the ball several times at the 50-yard line and just couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
Well, that's a big win for Auburn.
Sure was. And, of course, they did look very good.
Auburn will lose this week. I'm pretty confident, though.
Who's that?
Georgia.
If they win this week,
Alabama better hope they're not playing Georgia. I'm telling you, that's the most awesome team I've seen in the SEC in a long time, buddy. Their fronts on both sides of the ball are awesome, man, I tell you.
Auburn's got a really decent chance to lose maybe 3 out of the next 4.
Yep. I looked at that too.
I don't think. I tell you what, they play hard.
A&M on the road's not looking as scary. They need to get their starting quarterback back really bad. That guy was awful against Mississippi State.
Exactly.
I mean, he missed wide open guy after wide open guy.
Yeah.
Mississippi State had a huge win. But, I think Auburn will definitely lose to Georgia. I think they'll got a great chance to lose on the road at Arkansas. And then I think they'll probably lose at home to Ole Miss, and I think they'll lose, maybe lose on the road at A&M.
Well, we'll see that.
It's a tough stretch for Auburn.
Of course, Troy.
I mean, if they went 2 for 2 in those games, that'd be pretty good.
Yep.
Well, I'll tell you this: Troy jumps out of the fire into the fireplace. Let me tell you, that Georgia Southern team scored how many points in the first half? In the first half. They had 45 points in the first half
against Arkansas State.
Yeah,
they fired their coach. They fired their coach. Chad Lunsford got fired, and they brought in an interim coach. And I don't know. Maybe that's what those players needed. They needed a change, and they came out and beat a pretty good offensive team in Arkansas State. Beat them soundly. Troy, I don't know what to say. I mean. Defensively, we got one of the best defenses we've ever had. I mean, we gave up 14 points to an SEC team. You don't count the touchdown.
The pick
that
six.
was an interception.
Yeah.
I guess you gave up 16 points to an SEC team. So, and then of course we could talk about all the other crazy plays throughout the game. I mean, a muff punt where you had the ball at their own, like inside their own 20. You don't take advantage of that. You get an unbelievable strip, sack, fumble, aim recovery by Richard Juvenar in the fourth quarter. And then Reggie Todd, a 6-year player, Troy, fumbles the ball and looked like he recovered, and then looked like Barber recovered, and then they gave it to a gigantic 500-pound defensive lineman from South Carolina. Dad, Taylor Powell's got a knee injury. Why is Taylor Powell playing?
Who now?
Taylor Powell
has
he needs out of there.
A knee injury.
I don't know.
That the announcer said throughout the game he's playing with a knee injury. Why is he out there on the field?
I don't know. I know this. He sure didn't give it much of a try to run that guy down at the interception. He had an angle, a huge angle on him, and Sure couldn't catch him, I'll tell you that.
I mean,
didn't want to catch him.
Has Gunnar Watson left the program?
Somebody, I tell you what, and the coach did the cardinal rule. I'm afraid he has lent some personal feelings behind this right here. Because I tell you what, nobody wanted their family to be a part of this program than the kid from Gunnar. The kid from
Watson.
Gunnar Watson.
Gunnar Watson's from Georgia.
Gunnar Watson threw for over 2,000 yards last year. I'm not saying that you don't give this other boy a chance, but at the same time, I think you've given him a chance and get a Gunnar Watson a chance, and I really believe the whole team will rally behind him.
I mean, he throws 2 horrible interceptions. Not like, you know.
One looked like he's throwing right to him, didn't he?
Would have had another interception they reviewed and then gave back to Troy, so that would have been 3 interceptions. I mean, the highlight of the day is the defense and B.J. Smith. B.J. Smith is your starting running back.
Boy, he looked good,
If they start Vidal at running back again, I'm going to be in shock because B.J. Smith has earned his spot back and then some.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, we're going to get killed this weekend if we don't watch it. We're talking about a mad bunch of Georgia Southern folks that are looks like they must have gone back to the option. You reckon?
Well, they were the option the whole time.
No, well, did they?
The only time they weren't the option is when they had Summers as the coach. He tried to go to Fred. Luxford ran the option.
Yeah, okay.
You don't remember last year when that running back went about 90 yards for a touchdown right in front of your face?
Yeah, I remember that. I tell you what, they proved something to me. I mean, anytime you beat Arkansas State like that, man,
Butch Jones is having a tough first year, to say the least.
Yeah, I know it.
Well, he scores a ton of points. He just must have the country's worst defense because he's got a really good offense.
Find out why.
I mean, the thing about the Troy game that's depressing to me, though, is, I mean, it should have been Troy probably should have had the lead going into the half, and then he makes maybe one of the worst throws you'll ever see in your life, and the guy picks it off and goes in for a touchdown. So Troy's probably going to be tied 10-10 at the half. At worst, they're going to be down 10-7. And then, you get that botched punt. We get nothing out of that whatsoever.
Yeah.
And then, the guy gave Troy 7 points when, he dropped the ball at the 1 yard line.
Oh yeah, that was crazy. How did that happen?
I mean, that's happened many times, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, I know
in there in the end zone to go ahead and throw it away before they get to the goal line, and it ends up being a touchback. I was trying to explain that to my wife.
He looked around like me, and there's no way I did that. No way I did it.
Seems like they would coach these guys over and over and over again, run through the back of the end zone. Just go ahead and run through the back of the end zone. Hold the ball.
But
even at the very end of the game, Troy, gets the ball inside like the 35, but we're like moving at a snail's pace. At that situation, you got to try to get down there and get to like the 25 and kick the field goal and at least try an onside kick. But we were just like in slow motion.
That's why the guys that were doing the show were saying. They said, "Where's the
urgency?"
Urgency, yeah. Where's the urgency? They didn't know where it was.
Well, I thought that Troy could beat them and play with them, and they did. They had every chance to win the ball game.
But they should have scored 31.
But you figured they would find a way not to win. But on glass half full, listen, Troy can play with South Carolina, right?
Oh yeah, they can play with South Carolina.
They can play with Liberty. You saw what Liberty did to UAB in front of UAB's big stadium. They blew out UAB. Liberty didn't blow out Troy. So Troy, doesn't have a bad football. They just didn't show up for the La Monroe game, but besides that, they're a team that can play with anybody on the right day.
They can play. They can play. Let's just be honest with it. They can play with anybody defensively. They can't play with anybody offensively. We said the whole time that they can't beat South Carolina because they weren't going to get the 21 points, and they couldn't. They got the 14, and the final score is 23-14. I think I said 27-13.
Yep.
I mean, our offense is not going to get any better. I mean, right now,
Unless you bring in a spark, unless you put a lot of fire to somebody.
You know what Troy really misses on offense? He's playing for Texas Tech.
Yep.
Yeah,
he had a huge catch that won the game against West Virginia.
Oh, did he?
Geiger did. Yeah.
Well,
Neil Brown had a bad loss too. Now he's 2-3. He's got the fan base after him. At West Virginia.
Hey, I watched some Houston game, believe it or not, and Jones from Enterprise, who used to be at Troy, he had a long punt return and he had an interception.
Sure did. He had a big game.
Now, the point I've been making is when you lose your best players, and Jones would have been your best player on defense, and then this receiver would have been your best player on offense, that gives you that's hard to overcome.
Yeah. And I'm
going to tell you something that's sad. It's going to continue to happen. The big boys, the bigger schools are going to continue to get the best players off of Troy. Now, Troy's going to get some hand-me-downs from the big schools, but they're going to lose their best players.
You know, something is a good example.
I don't know what Troy does, though, because the offensive coordinator is really the head coach. He's the one calling the plays. He's the one that, is making all these decisions. I mean, Luke Meadows is the offensive line coach. Just like when Neil Brown was there, Matt Moore was offensive line coach. Neil Brown was the head coach, even though Matt Moore was technically the offensive coordinator. Neil Brown called the plays. Chip Lindsey calls the plays. So, I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, the offensive coordinator is your head coach.
Now, how is that, Mike?
Well,
I'm just saying he calls the plays. He's the offensive coordinator and head coach.
Meadows called the play?
No, Chip Lindsey does.
Oh yeah.
Chip Lindsey calls all the plays, just like Neil Brown calls all the plays.
Well, we need to rally and not lose this season if we can. I think we can beat Georgia Southern. We can beat Georgia Southern.
If you beat Georgia Southern, you go to 3-3. If you go on the road and beat Texas State falling apart. They played really well early, but now they're struggling. And Troy's beating them 2 straight years. You go to 4-3.
Yeah, now you got some.
But Troy is going to lose for sure at Coastal Carolina. They're going to lose for sure against Louisiana Lafayette, and they're going to lose for sure against Appalachian State. So if you look at that, that's going to be 6 losses on your season. But they're not going to beat those teams. Those teams are too well coached. Their players are better, and you're going to lose those 3 games. Now, if you beat Georgia Southern, that's a possibility.
You
beat Texas State. You might can beat South Alabama at home, but South Alabama almost came back and beat Lafayette. They only got beat 20-18. So that's scary. I don't know.
Yeah, the team that let me down was, and I thought for sure that they would play hard, was UAB, and UAB just stuck it up. Man, they sure did.
Everybody's talking about the golden future for. Yeah, they got a good quarterback and a good team, as we saw. But everybody's talking about the golden future of UAB with this fine new stadium. Yeah. Just remember that little Bill Rice Jr. in Troy said that little fine stadium that seats 45,000 people is going to have about 18,000 people at it. A lot of games. And if UAB loses this coach and this program goes back to their norm, you're going to have a lot of 4-8, 5-7 UAB teams, and in 10 years in the future, they'll be right back trying to cancel the football program.
I've got to get some petrol. That includes hot coffee. Why now?
The score was 3-3.5. Though a lot of people don't realize it was a close game.
Oh man! And then they scored that many
3-3.5. They had 38,000 people. I had a couple of buddies call me. They were at the game, and they said it could have been more than that because a lot of people weren't sitting down. But 38,000 first game against Liberty. You turn that around against a Power 5 program. Liberty's got a name with people that know football, but Liberty doesn't have any kind of name with other people.
Well, it was their very first game in that stadium was the big thing, and they made such a big, people were coming out to support the program in the stadium. I saw the ESPN has their attendance at 36,000. I guess it seats 45, 46. But I sure thought it would be full or almost full.
Of course, it's going to really help their program. The new stadium's going to really help.
Everybody thinks it is. That's a $330 million stadium. You think of the debt payments on that.
It cost them that much. You know, I'm on Troy's new stadium didn't cost near that much.
I might be wrong, but I think
but I think that's what kind of deal Troy got. I think they paid $18 million.
Yeah. Well, the city of Birmingham
for that first edition
is paying some of the debt. I think $90 million of it. So the UAB Athletics isn't paying all of it, but yeah. And then I'm looking at attendance everywhere. Did you look at the South Carolina Troy attendance?
Oh my God, there might have been 50,000. It was awful.
LSU Auburn was not a sellout, folks. There were about 4,000, 5,000 unsold tickets in Baton Rouge for the first SEC game between two rivals.
That surprised me.
That still makes 95,000 at the game.
I know, but in the past, you would never think that the Auburn LSU would not be a hard sellout. What I'm saying is trends in attendance at college football games are going down hard. Ohio State last week against Tulsa, I think, had 70,000 people in the 104,000 seat stadium.
Who's that?
Ohio State. 35,000 empty seats.
That's our feeling.
I mean, the Alabama Ole Miss was not a sellout. It was 98% a sellout, but it wasn't.
We're going to take a short break. Remember, this show is brought to you by Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram trucks on the bypass, and they have one more day of the giant sale. One more day, and that's today. The giant sale. They're practically giving cars away. And I promise you, they'll beat anybody's deal on a new and used car and truck from Premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep on the bypass in Troy. We'll be back.
Check out the scoreboard. J.D. Power's #1 in initial quality midsize truck. Jeep Gladiator. 0 APR for 36 months. And no payments for 90 days. Shop PremierTroy.com today during Jeep Adventure Days and save thousands. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
Rabbits. Welcome to ESPN College Football.
This is going to be wild. Run it.
We're celebrating our Driver Appreciation Week. We're so happy to have Truckworks here.
We just want to recognize Truckworks for what they do for us. Absolute great partner. They've really stepped up here on Driver Appreciation Week. They came in here, and I mean, not hamburgers and hot dogs, Boston butts, and the grilled chicken, the really, really prima stuff. So, man, we so much appreciate you guys and what you do for us.
Wallace Sanders Truck Line, we know one thing. Drivers first.
The 11th annual Riverwalk Wine Festival will be held Friday, October 8th at the Union Station Train Shed. Join the City of Montgomery's Department of Cultural Affairs for an evening of wine tasting, food vendors, and live jazz downtown. Tickets for this charity event are $30, and proceeds will benefit the Family Sunshine Center. Visit mgmcityevents.com today to order your tickets for the 11th annual Riverwalk Wine Festival, happening Friday, October 8th.
Check out the scoreboard. J.D. Power's #1 in initial quality truck. Ram. #1 longest lasting truck. Ram. Right now, get 0% APR for 72 months on new Ram. Shop PremierTroy.com during Ram Power Days and save. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
It's fall sale days on GE appliances at Bracken Appliance in Enterprise in Dothan. Our warehouses are loaded with appliances. Get great savings on these 4 sets of washers and dryers, starting as low as $449 each or $898 for the pair. Shop now for special savings on GE laundry at Bracken Appliance in Enterprise in Dothan. Take it home with you, or Bracken will deliver. Buy local.
Check out the scoreboard. J.D. Power's #1 in initial quality midsize truck. Jeep Gladiator. 0 APR for 36 months. And no payments for 90 days. Shop PremierTroy.com today during Jeep Adventure Days and save thousands. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
Forevermark Diamonds. Beautiful, rare, responsibly sourced. Available at Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry.
Check out the scoreboard. J.D. Power's #1 in initial quality truck. Ram. #1 longest lasting truck. Ram. Right now. Get 0% APR for 72 months on new Ram. Shop PremierTroy.com during Ram Power Days and save. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
Bracken Appliance, the largest appliance store in the Wiregrass, is the place to go to find your dream kitchen. Choose from names like Wolf, Sub-Zero, GE's Cafe Line, and KitchenAid. If a dream kitchen is in your future, you owe it to yourself to shop Bracken Appliance. Bracken specializes in customer service, friendly, knowledgeable sales staff with that special touch to make you feel welcome. Dream no more about your new kitchen. Find it at Bracken Appliance. Come on in, buy local and take it with you, or Bracken will deliver.
Check out the scoreboard. J.D. Power's #1 in initial quality midsize truck. Jeep Gladiator. 0 APR for 36 months. And no payments for 90 days. Shop PremierTroy.com today during Jeep Adventure Days and save thousands. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody. Run it.
Welcome to ESPN College Football.
This is going to be wild. Run it.
We're celebrating our Driver Appreciation Week. We're so happy to have TruckWorks here.
We just want to recognize TruckWorks for what they do for us. Absolute great partners. They've really stepped up here on Driver Appreciation Week. They came in here, and I mean, not hamburgers and hot dogs, Boston butts and the grilled chicken, the really, really prima stuff. So, man, we so much appreciate you guys and what you do for us.
Wally Sanders Truck Line, we know one thing. Drivers first.
The 11th annual Riverwalk Wine Festival will be held Friday, October 8th at the Union Station Train Shed. Join the City of Montgomery's Department of Cultural Affairs for an evening of wine tasting, food vendors, and live jazz downtown. Tickets for this charity event are $30, and proceeds will benefit the Family Sunshine Center. Visit mgmcityevents.com today to order your tickets for the 11th annual Riverwalk Wine Festival happening Friday, October 8th.
Check out the scoreboard. J.D. Power's #1 in initial quality truck. Ram. #1 longest lasting truck. Ram. Right now. Get 0% APR for 72 months on new Ram. Shop PremierTroy.com during Ram Power Days and save. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
It's fall sale days on GE appliances at Bracken Appliance in Enterprise in Dothan. Our warehouses are loaded with appliances. Get great savings on these 4 sets of washers and dryers, starting as low as $449 each or $898 for the pair. Shop now for special savings on GE laundry at Bracken Appliance in Enterprise in Dothan. Take it home with you or Bracken will deliver. Buy local.
Check out the scoreboard. J.D. Power's #1 in initial quality midsize truck. Jeep Gladiator. 0 APR for 36 months. And no payments for 90 days. Shop PremierTroy.com today during Jeep Adventure Days and save thousands. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
Let's go to Florida.
Nobody beats a Premier deal. And, of course, Premier is located on the bypass here in Troy. And I'll tell you right now, the last day of that big sale is today. So you better get on out there. And well, we're talking about $29.95 for very nice cars for $29.95. You can buy a car for that. And then, by the way, $95
down?
Yeah, you pay $99. But it's just $99 a week. So that's quite a deal, isn't it?
Well,
all right, let's play a fun game. Let's go over Troy University's, the rest of their schedule, Auburn's schedule, and Alabama's schedule. Let's find out what their record's going to be. Okay.
Okay. You like this game?
All right. So Troy will be home for the first time. Let's keep in mind they've been on the road 3 straight weeks. They will host Georgia Southern Saturday at 6 p.m.
Okay.
I think that's probably.
Georgia Southern is 2-3.
I would say Georgia Southern is going to. I would pick Georgia Southern to win that game, but I think Troy can win it.
I look for Troy to lose. Those boys are playing with a passion right now. They're playing with a passion over at Georgia Southern.
Well, you can't make it out of just one win over Arkansas State. Arkansas State's only won 1 game.
Okay.
I'm going to say they could beat Georgia Southern.
I know they can.
I can see them losing this game at Texas State because Texas State can score a lot of points still. They just can't stop anybody. So on the road at Texas State in San Marcos is the next week.
I'll take Troy over them. They got their number.
Okay, I'll yield to
Okay,
Mike.
I'm going. All right, yeah, Texas State. All right.
All right. So Troy could be 4-3, or they could be 3-4 based on what we said against Georgia Southern. On the road after an off week on a Thursday night on the ESPNU against Coastal Carolina. Coastal Carolina beat La Monroe 59-6.
Oh yeah, of course, I think they'll play better than ULM played, but they'll still score 30 on them. Talking about the Coastal.
Yeah, I don't think we got Coastal's best game last year here in Troy. We could have, should have beat them. That won't be the case this year, so that's a loss.
And then probably the biggest game of the season will be at home on November the 6th on a Saturday at 2:30. South Alabama comes to town. South Alabama was down 20-0 to Louisiana Lafayette, came back. Final score, they lost 20-18. They missed a 37-yard field goal with a minute left to win it.
Oh, boy.
So South Alabama is really playing good football. What do you think on that game? I'm going to have to lean towards South Alabama.
I missed that. South Alabama missed a 37-yard field goal that would have won the game?
Yeah.
God, Louisiana Lafayette got out of dodged the bullet.
I believe South Alabama beat them.
South Alabama. South Alabama's got
You got
more.
to remember, Troy beat South Alabama 29-0 last year. Probably their best game.
Yeah.
But South Alabama's got more to play for, more momentum.
This Troy team is bad. I think they might have seen their last great game. I'm afraid.
All right, you got Louisiana Lafayette, Raging Cajuns, homecoming. Why in the world do we schedule Lafayette for homecoming at 2:30?
Lafayette, yeah.
I hate to say it.
It's a lot better than playing. I'll tell you what, Mike. It's better than playing Coastal, and it's better than playing our buddies from Boone, North Carolina.
Well, what we're talking about.
You get them the next week.
Mike, I hate to say this. I think maybe if Troy can't beat Texas State, I think Troy's in deep trouble. I'm talking about maybe 2 or 3 wins total.
Now you got to keep in mind, we said this was the toughest schedule we've had since Skip's been the head coach. I mean, this is a brutal schedule.
Yeah.
Well, the Sun Belt's so good, but what we're talking about here is, can Coach Lindsey keep the locker room and keep players playing hard and focused and trying? That's the challenge, isn't it? I mean, that they don't just.
Oh yeah.
I'll tell you this. I'm going to say this.
You got the defense playing. You got the defense playing lights out and keeping you in every game.
Yeah.
And then you got the offense that can't score. Now you got to look back now. That you don't count the Southern game. That was against the 1AA school. So you score 7. Really well. You scored 13 against Liberty. You scored with like a minute left. The next game against Southern Miss, you don't score any points in the first half. You do score 3 touchdowns in the second. That's 21. La Monroe, you score about 38 seconds left to get to 16 points, and you got to 14 points against South Carolina. So I mean, if you're a defensive guy, you're probably pretty much saying in the locker room, I mean, what can we do? I mean, we're doing all we can to make you win the game.
I hate to say this, and I don't say this much. I don't know if I've ever said this that much. Something is happening in the Troy dressing room. Something is not right.
Well,
for this guy who is a premium football player. We're not talking about just a little skimpy guy. We're talking about a 6'5" guy that can play, or 6'3", 6'4" guy that can play, and he's not even getting a chance. I'm afraid if we looked in deep with this, there's something political. It's got to be something political. And that means somebody's got mad at somebody's mom and daddy or whatever.
All right, so we got Louisiana Lafayette. I'm going to say if we lose that game, we all agree.
What now?
Y'all all agree we lose to Louisiana Lafayette at homecoming?
Oh, yeah. It's
all right.
The same
Then
turn.
we got Appalachian State. We got Appalachian State to beat Georgia State at Georgia State by 30 this weekend.
This is the Georgia State team that should have beat Auburn, gets blown out the next week by Appalachian State.
Yeah.
All right, so then we play Appalachian State at home on the 20th. I mean, as a Troy fan, this is hard to say. Because these are home games. In the past, you would feel good about us playing anybody at home, but Lafayette and Appalachian State are just too strong. And then you finish the season in Atlanta, Georgia, against Georgia State, who's only won one game, even though one of them, their second win could have been against Auburn. So, man, where are the wins going to come from? I still think we could maybe beat Georgia Southern. I still think we could beat Texas State. So that gets you the 4 wins. And then you got an outside chance to beat South Alabama at home. I wouldn't say outside chance. I'd say 50-50 chance to beat South Alabama. Troy's played South Alabama pretty good over the years. And then you got Georgia State on the road. That would get you to 6 wins. That would get you to 6-6. But, man, 5-7 looks a lot more realistic than 6-6. Don't you agree?
Yeah, it does.
Yep.
But I hope somebody's going to give this offense some spark, and the only thing I know that to do is to play the other quarterback. And I don't have anything personal against this guy, our starter, but somebody needs to give offense a spark, and the only person I can think of would be Gunner.
Well, another plus in this game is we did have some running game against South Carolina. So if you get a spark at quarterback and you get some running game, suddenly maybe the offense will improve.
Yeah, I've got this.
Yeah, if you would have told me Troy would have had 150 yards rushing against the SEC team, and they're a very poor SEC team, I would have said Troy would have had a chance to win.
Troy did have a chance to win. Yeah.
All
right, here we go. Our Auburn Tigers. Auburn Tigers had a huge win on the road. Bo Nix broke the streak at Baton Rouge. Auburn had not won there since 1999. I've seen numerous pictures that Timber's corner got rolled. There was a lot of toilet paper there after the game.
Boy,
we got to talk about, for the people that didn't see the play, did you say it, Michael, that Johnny Manziel type play?
I told my wife I stayed up till 11:50 watching Auburn beat LSU.
So here's what Nix drops back, flush to the right, and it looks like when he drops back, it looks like they have him. Then he runs over to the right sidelines, and it looks like they have him. Somehow he jukes back and goes towards the middle of the field, and they almost have him. And then he runs all the way back to the left sidelines, and it looks like he's getting ready to run out of bounds. I think it's a 4th down play, so you say, oh, that's it for Auburn. But right before he runs out of bounds, he said, well, I can't do that. So he steps back towards the middle of the field, and right before he gets leveled, he throws a strike to the end zone.
And I'm going to tell you, that strike was 30 to 40 yards long, too. That was a tremendous.
So he ran about 80 yards on the play, and then he juked about 5 people, and then at the last split second, he throws a touchdown pass.
He threw it to a tight end named Fromm. That's Jake Fromm, the former Georgia brother that plays tight end at Auburn.
Uh-huh.
Auburn's got some good tight ends. Oh, you know what? I'm thinking. I thought Tank Bigsby was the best running back in America, but he might not be. He might not be the best running back on Auburn's team. That freshman.
Yeah, that Hunter kid is good, isn't he?
I'm gonna tell you what.
Auburn has 2 premier elite 5-star running backs.
I tell you what.
All right, here we go. Here's the Auburn Tiger. They're 4-1. Here's the rest of their schedule. My twin sister went to Auburn. She's Auburn grad. My mom's an Auburn grad, so we got to talk about Auburn. Georgia at home. CBS 2:30.
That's definitely a loss.
You know what though? If this Georgia quarterback is still out, Bennett, is if they can stop the running game and Bennett has to beat you with the pass, and you get that crowd into the ball game. Yes, of course Georgia probably wins, but it's no lock, I would say. How about that?
Kirby Smart has never lost to Auburn, I don't think.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. He got Auburn's number.
No, he got blown out one year in Auburn, and then he got revenge in the SEC championship game. Remember?
That's right. That's Chip Lindsey's offensive coordinator year. Actually, yeah, that's when Chip's offensive coordinator and Jared Stidham beat Alabama too. That's when Auburn went on that great run.
Auburn,
but Alabama hurt Kerryon Johnson. A lot of people didn't talk about that in the Iron Bowl. Kerryon Johnson got hurt and could barely play against Georgia in the SEC championship game in Atlanta, and Georgia just shut them down after that.
Yep.
Auburn is going to be hard to stop.
The Auburn, Georgia's defense
Georgia's going to be hard to stop.
But you would have to say Georgia, but you know,
I don't even have a but on that. I think Nick, what he did against LSU scrambling, he will get absolutely knocked out of the game against Georgia. That's how physical they are.
I would take Auburn in the points.
I think LSU showed that, you know, when they got beat by a Pac-12 team by UCLA, they got manhandled, really. They're not very good. LSU is going to be looking for a football coach in the year.
Let me ask you this. He's looking over there at that LSU coach.
Who is going to be the LSU coach?
Would you want your son to play for him?
No.
Boy, I tell you, I wouldn't want my son 100 yards from him.
Well, who do you think?
I'll say this. LSU is a great program with the right coach.
You're right. With the right coach.
It might be the best program besides Georgia just because you own a state that is full of great players. So you ought to get 10 or 15 4- and 5-star players from your own state every year.
I mean, I'll just say this. Do you think Les Miles is a great coach? He won a national championship. Do you think Ed Orgeron's a great coach? He won a national championship. So that tells you what kind of talent is in the state of Louisiana.
Yeah, plus they got a national brand, and they can get players from all over in addition to Louisiana.
And let me ask you this, and we're not on this subject, but we're talking about these quarterbacks and everything. Where was Jimbo when they were giving out quarterbacks at the first of the year? Why couldn't he have gotten a decent quarterback? I mean, we're talking about their quarterbacks are pathetic.
At Texas A&M?
Yeah. I mean, why in the world could, you know, through the...
I'll tell you what, how are you going to beat a guy that went like, what did he go for, like 45 for 55 and threw for 400 yards? That Will Rogers at Mississippi State was just unbelievable.
Yes, sir. He's a player now. He's a player. Yes, sir. He's a player.
Yeah, Mississippi State's
all right, let's finish out the Auburn.
All right, okay.
Let's figure out what Auburn's going to go. All right, we got them losing to Georgia. Some people think maybe Auburn will put up a fight. I don't see it. At Arkansas, huge game the next week. How bad does Georgia beat you up? Arkansas has got to be mad. You know, they played horrible against Georgia yesterday or on Saturday. Does Arkansas beat Auburn at home?
Let me tell you about Arkansas, what I noticed more than anything. They're weak. They're not a physical football team. I mean, I've never seen a team in the SEC ever in my life be physically beat like Arkansas was.
And that was their
it was like it was a child out there. Say it was like a junior high kid. It was about like a junior high kid. And their coach, pitiful the way he coached.
He's having a great year.
Yeah, but the way he coached that game, you would have thought he was going to have a stroke.
Well, I mean, him and Kirby coached together. I mean, Kirby knows
he had a hard time, and he stayed on the official just ate them alive, and you know, and he'd been coaching. He knew very, very quickly that he was outmanned, and that's what happened to.
All right, I'm going to say Auburn beats Arkansas. Do y'all agree?
Oh yeah, they beat them good too.
Yep, right. I think the luster is off of Arkansas. So Auburn just gets by that.
Ole Miss and Jordan Hare. I think Ole Miss is actually pretty good. Their top receiver was not even playing in the game, Jonathan Mingo. Their defense played a lot better in the second half against Alabama, even though Alabama's just trying to run the clock and get out of there. But I think Ole Miss will beat Auburn at Auburn.
I see it as being a toss-up. I see it. This is not a great Ole Miss team. This is not a great Ole Miss team.
I think they're pretty good offensively.
Well, something's got to give. Auburn's going to eat their lunch at Tiger Stadium.
It'll be a great game.
Jordan Hare.
I'm going to say Auburn loses that game. Then on the road at Texas A&M on November 6th, if A&M has a quarterback, their starter come back, I would give A&M a great chance. 102,000 people. I'm going to say Auburn loses that game.
I say they do too.
Their quarterback's supposed to be back by then, I think. Their starting quarterback.
I know it. Is he any good?
Probably better than the second string.
Yeah, he's a lot better than this guy.
Y'all understand what I mean? Here you are, one of the richest schools in the country, and you can't go to the portal and pick you out and get you a quarterback. I know there's some over there, you know.
Well, this guy that was starting was a blue chip quarterback that had a year of seasoning under the quarterback guru Jimbo.
Then Mississippi State at Auburn. You think Auburn beats Mississippi State at home?
No, I think they play them at home.
That's another coin flip game as far as I see. Since they're playing at Auburn, I'll take Auburn.
I think they got a better chance to beat Mississippi State than Ole Miss.
I do too, but I don't know. I don't know. This is a pretty good, football team.
Mississippi State's better than I thought.
One thing about them, they're going to play hard. They're going to play hard.
Mississippi State.
Yeah.
Yeah, their defense is better than you think too.
Then at South Carolina, that's going to be a win for Auburn. Auburn will blow South Carolina out. Then home to the University of Alabama. I'm going to say Alabama beats Auburn. So I'm going to say Auburn finishes the year 7-5.
Oh, me.
Their over/under for the season was 6.5, so I bet them to win more than 6.5. Yeah. So
other than Georgia, y'all, and Alabama, I think the other games are straight up. Auburn straight up against
let's talk
else.
Glass half full.
I think they lose to Ole Miss, Texas A&M, and Alabama. So I feel like they go 7-5.
Let's do glass half full, glass half empty.
Very good.
Wasn't that, Mike?
I think 7-5 or 8-4 is a really good season.
Yeah. Here's the glass half full on Auburn. Bo Nix might be back. They don't have one great running back. They've got two great running backs. They just have an offensive line turn out the lights. But I'll tell you now, both of these running backs are as good as anybody in the country.
They really did look good.
Defensive front and linebackers fine. Some secondary sometimes has bust. They go up and they could beat Penn State, who's not a bad football team. They go to LSU and beat LSU at LSU. But then they have some players out and they almost lose to Georgia State. So just go figure. But Auburn could win 8 or 9 games.
I'm gonna tell you, you're exactly right, Rice. I'll tell you this: I think they're playing with a purpose. I mean, I believe they play hard. This quarterback. Young man, he's a hard-nosed young man that can play. But I'll tell you right now, the way it looks to me, Georgia is going to beat more or less anybody, including Alabama, if they continue to play like that. But
you got to look at the LSU game though. They were down 13-0. They're down 19-10 late in the third quarter. LSU, if they have any kind of offense whatsoever, probably should have won that game.
Yeah.
We talked about Bo Nix and all these unbelievable plays, and I mean, yeah, he led them to the victory, and Hunter had a lot of big runs, but in most cases they lose that game.
Yeah. Well,
LSU found a way to basically not even kick a field goal. I mean, late in the game. I mean,
I noticed something.
Really bad offense late.
Yeah, it was bad offense.
Y'all comment on this. I noticed something about Auburn. They ran Bo Nix more on designed runs. Bo Nix is a great running quarterback. It is crazy not to let him run the ball 10 times a game.
He could run the option.
And when he runs, when he's determined, sometimes he runs better than other times, but when he is mad and means it,
you're right.
He runs fearless and in full speed.
He ran over a couple of LSU guys on the goal line.
He runs with a purpose. So if Auburn's got a good backup quarterback. I wouldn't worry about Bo Nix getting hurt. Plus, he's never been hurt. But I'd go ahead and run him. You got a gun. Fire the gun.
I tell you right now, if I'm LSU, I'm wishing like hell I'd kept that quarterback. The big quarterback could have been playing for LSU.
LSU lost Miles Brennan too for the year, and a lot of people said that he had beat out Johnson. So who knows?
What happened to Miles Brennan?
Had some fluke injury.
I think he broke his collarbone or something.
In a fishing accident or something. It wasn't even football related.
I know that's probably out skiing.
Auburn's season comes down to these next 4 games. Georgia at home, at Arkansas, Ole Miss at home, at Texas A&M. If Auburn goes 3-1, they have a great season. If they go 2-2, I still think they go 7-5.
I really believe this as another cowboy in the race, and they were from Starkville, Mississippi. Right. I think this Mississippi State team, Mike, I think they found their niche a little bit with a very competitive quarterback. I'll tell you.
Well, I mean, if you throw Mississippi State in, this is a really, really tough schedule.
It is. I tell you, Mississippi State has a good football team, and they're, you know why they have my big, strong defensive linemen. They're real strong up front defensively.
You know, it's no lock for Alabama to go to Mississippi State.
I know, that's right. But at least they would. I like Mississippi State, but I like Georgia and then Alabama. They'll have three. Those three would be the teams. Other than that, I think they can beat A&M. And that little bitty coach over there, and I did not realize what he's got a small man's attitude about things. I didn't realize that when he played for Stanford University that he was 5'8". Did you realize he was that short?
Oh, Jimbo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is a little guy, and he was their quarterback and did a good job.
He was a great quarterback. Yeah.
Yeah. You know who they are.
You look about a little guy. You know who they say the MVP in the NFL is? The quarterback for the Cardinals. That was
he's pretty not big, is he?
He's 5'8", 5'9".
Yeah.
All right, we got Alabama. Here's the rest of their schedule. They're 5-0. They're at Texas A&M this weekend. I'll say that's going to be a win. It's going to be on 7 o'clock, CBS, prime time, major.
You know, Alabama. This game has lost some of its luster, and the fact that Texas A&M has lost 2 games, you think that Alabama's going to be kind of disinterested going into this?
Yeah, no, I think they will be.
And then Texas A&M's not going to be disinterested. Their backs are against the wall. So you might have one team that's really hyped up and another team that's just kind of going through the motions. That's where Nick Saban comes in. So,
then you got a trap game next week. After that, on the 16th at Mississippi State. We're praising Mississippi State, but I still say Alabama beats Mississippi State in Starkville.
Yeah. But let me tell you this: they've got a quarterback that can make plays. His name, and of course, he's named after my favorite cowboy, Will Rogers, my cowboy clown.
And then shocking score over the weekend. Tennessee put 62 on Missouri at Missouri. Tennessee will be in Tuscaloosa on October the 23rd. Of course, that's Alabama's big rivalry over the years. Alabama's beat Tennessee, 16 straight, Bryce, or 15 straight?
Now, where are they playing that game?
Since 2000.
In Bryant-Denny.
Oh, okay. I tell you what, they've got something to better look at because their offense, Tennessee's really looks like they have found an offense.
I think Alabama's beat Tennessee 14 in a row.
In fact, their offense looks a lot like Ole Miss.
Well, they look much better.
Then you got an off week. LSU comes to Tuscaloosa. I feel like Alabama will beat LSU at home. New Mexico State Aggies come to town. I think Alabama will put about 70 on them. Arkansas comes to Tuscaloosa on November 20th. I think Alabama will handle Arkansas. And then at Auburn on the 27th, I've got Alabama going undefeated going into the SEC championship game on December the 4th.
And look out, those red-clad Georgia Bulldogs. Boy, they've got a great team.
Let's go ahead and talk about it. If Alabama's undefeated, Georgia's undefeated, you know, you're playing this game for the SEC championship, which is a big deal. But don't you think if either team loses, they're still in the playoffs in that case?
I don't know. That's right. That's a good
question.
Well,
Cincinnati is now in the picture, so that's going to be an issue because if Cincinnati wins out, everybody's going to want them in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah, they'll deserve to be in the playoffs.
Well, who are the 4 I mean, you're going to tell me everybody in the world knows that the 2 best teams are Alabama and Georgia, and say it's one team wins by a touchdown in a close game, you're going to leave out the other team, and the whole purpose of the playoffs is to pick the 4 best teams. Yeah. So what I'm saying is you're going to have you're going to probably have Alabama, Georgia, and then you're probably going to have a rematch, in the national championship game.
You know who looks pretty good right now?
The Pac-12 is done now since Oregon got upset by Stanford. So I think the Pac-12 is out, the ACC is out, because Clemson's already lost 2 games, and I don't even know who else is even.
I tell you what, if I was saying,
I don't think Wake Forest is going to win out. They're undefeated.
They're well coached.
They barely won over the weekend over Louisville.
Louisville's a pretty good team, though.
Ohio State's already lost. I mean, I guess technically Michigan could get in if they won all their games.
Michigan, a lot of the people up north would love for Michigan, and they might be there.
Michigan or Penn State in the Big Ten.
And Penn State's got a good team.
Oklahoma in the Big 12.
Somebody's going to beat Oklahoma. Oklahoma almost got beat again this weekend.
Yeah.
So it seems to me that if Alabama and Georgia can take care of business, they're in the playoffs if they get to the SEC championship. It would have to be
y'all
theft.
want to do a recap of the weekend top 25?
Yeah, let's do.
Let's take a commercial because I need some coffee.
We need some coffee. We'll be back.
We probably got some coffee over there.
Yeah. No, that's right. We do.
Check out the scoreboard. J.D. Power's #1 in initial quality midsize truck. Jeep Gladiator. 0 APR for 36 months. And no payments for 90 days. Shop PremierTrade.com today during Jeep Adventure Days and save thousands. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody. Run it.
Welcome to ESPN College Football.
This is going to be wild. Run it.
We're celebrating our Driver Appreciation Week. We're so happy to have Truckworks here.
We just want to recognize Truckworks for what they do for us. Absolute great partners. They've really stepped up here on Driver Appreciation Week. They came in here, and I mean, not hamburgers and hot dogs, Boston butts and the grilled chicken, the really, really prima stuff. So, man, we so much appreciate you guys and what you do for us.
Wally Sanders Truck Line, we know one thing. Drivers first.
The 11th annual Riverwalk Wine Festival will be held Friday, October 8th at the Union Station Train Shed. Join the City of Montgomery's Department of Cultural Affairs for an evening of wine tasting, food vendors, and live jazz downtown. Tickets for this charity event are $30 and proceeds will benefit the Family Sunshine Center. Visit mgmcityevents.com today to order your tickets for the 11th annual Riverwalk Wine Festival happening Friday, October 8th.
Check out the scoreboard. J.D. Power's #1 in initial quality truck. Ram. #1 longest lasting truck. Ram. Right now. Get 0% APR for 72 months on new Ram. Shop PremierTrade.com during Ram Power Days and save. Nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
Well, and the Elba beat them 47-7.
Well, like I said,
it was a blowout.
If I was Alabama, I would reconsider that scholarship offer.
Hey, Brantley beat Sampson 46-18.
Pike Road beat Charles Henderson.
I heard there's a running clock on Charles Henderson. They were up.
Can you believe that? Can you believe that, Rice? They put a running. They beat a running. Put a running.
It was 50-6 at halftime. I kept up with it for a little while, and then it just got too ugly.
They put a running deal on him. Did you know that? That's embarrassing.
At least that's what I heard.
That drive show, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about Charles Henderson's loss this weekend to a very good team from. You would pay your old stomping
I used to live in Pike Road, and so I've seen the growth of Pike Road firsthand.
Did you go to that game, Charles? At the game?
No, my Maggie went.
Did she? Well, Charles Henson lost that football game 60-6, and correct me if I'm wrong. Please correct me if I'm wrong. They ran a running clock on Charles Henson the third and fourth quarters. That's
what
bad.
I heard them, Neil and Wally, talking about during the broadcast. I don't know 100% sure though, but they were saying to run a running clock.
Well, maybe that's the way
they were saying that the coaches needed to get together and do a running clock. So I assume probably maybe that happened due to the fact that they were up 50-6 at the half and they only scored 10 points.
Well, maybe they put in, in a game like that, you put in your third. That's the game I would have got to play in when they can put in your third-team players, your freshmen and sophomores.
Exactly, and you're.
Pike Liv had a big victory. Dothan.
How bad did Pike win? And
I want to say 42-17, maybe.
42-17, yeah.
Well,
they scored 42 unanswered.
I had to go back and look.
It was 42 unanswered points.
They were down 17.
No.
Crenshaw Christian was the shocker. They lost.
Who beat Crenshaw?
I have to go back and look. But
that surprises me. Oh boy.
Well, then the other shocker in college football was Florida gets beat by Kentucky.
I watched that game.
I called that all week. If anybody would listen to me.
Did you make it in your picks? Did you pick Kentucky?
I said all week that Kentucky will play Florida tough, and that Florida will be lucky to win by a field goal.
Well, I tell you what, and I tell you, I thought I started watching the Florida coach, he handles himself pretty well. He didn't look like he went crazy like a lot of folks said he used to do, And
well, they kind of
he straightened up his act,
They kind of they had 15. Florida had 15 penalties. They had a special teams touchdown. I mean, you look at the stats. Florida had a lot more yards and first downs. Florida should have won the game, but sometimes you should have won the game and you don't win the game.
South Carolina played them to a 16-10 game last week, and then they come back and the bunch from Kentucky can't score any points, against Florida. But if they've got that kind of defense, more power to them. And you can keep it on the ground and run that clock. You beat folks. That's exactly what they did.
Here's your top 25 scores. Iowa blew out Maryland. I mean, my God. I mean, it was just a beat down. So Maryland's not for real. Tumblebeloa throws 5 interceptions. Bryce.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Sorry, Tallulah.
So that's Tua's brother that was at Alabama and transferred. Iowa's the real deal. I think they're ranked number 3 in the country now. BYU, they've got a coach. This guy is doing great. They won at Utah State 34-20. BYU goes to 5-0. Alabama blows out Ole Miss. I know Ole Miss scored some late touchdowns, 42-21. Brian Robinson, great game, 36 carries, 171 yards. Alabama did lose their backup running back who's already rushed for 5 or scored 5 touchdowns. Josh McClellan looks like he's out for the year.
Oh, no.
With torn ACL. So that's going to hurt Alabama's depth. Mississippi State holds on and beats A&M 26-22. I don't know if you watched that game late. They got a late safety, Mississippi State did, that really helped win the game.
Boy, let me say
Georgia,
something. Let me say something about that game. Golly, our guy looks like an old man.
Jimbo's our guy?
No.
I know. He's talking about Mike.
Oh, golly, Mike. He looks like an old man over there. I felt sorry for him.
He's 60. He's 60.
He looks, he's more than what he said. How old is he?
He's 60 on the dot.
60, okay.
All right, Georgia beats Arkansas 37-0. Upset of the day, Stanford gets an extra play on 4th down and beats Oregon 31-24.
The officials just took that game away from I've never seen anything like it.
Was a questionable call, I will say that.
Oh, man.
I called this game. I figured they'd beat Indiana. They beat them 24-0. Oklahoma survives Kansas State 37-31. Cincinnati was up 17-0, survives Notre Dame 24-13.
Let me tell you one. I want to tell you one thing about that score. They let Kansas State run a 100-yard kickoff return with less than a minute to play.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow.
Did you know that? Yeah, oh, yeah. Oh,
did that change the point spread?
100 yards.
That made a lot of people in Vegas upset.
Oh, it killed them. Let me tell you something, Art. You're sitting there with 11 points. You got to win more than that. And it was just over. The game was over. And they kick off to Kansas State, and the guy run zigzag through them for 100 yards for a touchdown.
Yep.
And there, Las Vegas getting killed again.
Well, maybe.
Looks like Ohio State might be back. They blow out Rutgers at Rutgers 52-13.
I believe it. Everybody says that Ohio State is extremely good on offense, but they almost call it extremely bad on defense.
Mm-hmm.
I will no longer pick Wisconsin again the rest of the season. Michigan won at Wisconsin 38-17. Michigan is 5-0. We mentioned this. La Monroe, of course, their backup, Rich Rodriguez's son, did not play because he was out, because of his lung issues. Coastal cruises 59-6. Michigan State, but anybody that said Michigan State would be 5-0 right now, they beat Western Kentucky 48-21. Shocker here, I didn't even know this score until right now. Fresno State loses on the road at Hawaii 27-24, so goodbye Fresno State. Did y'all know that?
Nope.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
No. I say that UCLA got beat pretty easily too. So I thought UCLA was pretty good.
Oklahoma State, I'm a man, I'm 40. Oklahoma State continues to win. They won 24-14 over Baylor, Dad's Baylor team you like so much.
After I watched them a little bit, I don't like them as much.
Oklahoma State is now 5-0. UCLA loses bad to Arizona State. Arizona State's 4-1. They won 42-23. Their only losses on the road at BYU. Auburn comes back. They beat LSU 24-19, and then heartbreak city again for Louisiana Tech. They've lost a lot of close games this year. They lost on the road to NC State 34-27, and then Wake Forest comes back and beat Louisville 37-34. Wake Forest is undefeated, and then Clemson finds a way to win. Boston College was undefeated, but Clemson wins at home 19-13. That's your top 25.
Oh boy, that was interesting. That was fine, and of course. A lot of good things, a lot of bad things, and I know your favorite team is coming on hard times right now. And of course, I see that Auburn is much better than we thought they were going to be, or some people thought they were going to be. I thought they'd at least be competitive. I really do. I don't believe there's unless Georgia and Alabama beats them. I can't really see.
How bad is LSU though? It's my question.
Yeah, I know it.
I think LSU is not that good. I mean, they can't run the ball at all. I think they had like 8 yards rushing against Auburn, and they haven't run the ball all year long. So at this point in the season, you're going to say that LSU has a terrible offensive line and cannot run the ball.
Remember,
and then their best player hadn't played in 2 years, Stingley. I guess he's just trying to get ready for the pros. He had like freshman All-American honors, and he's supposed to be a game changer as a punt returner, best defensive back in the country. He's not playing for LSU. LSU's got a lot of issues off the field. Orgeron, just like Max Hall says every week, coaching for his job. I got a feeling he will not be the coach at the end of the year at LSU.
Well, who are they going to get? Are they going to go after Lane Kiffin?
I don't know.
Also, locally, I wanted to mention Florida State won down here. A lot of Florida State fans, I live around here down in Great. They found their way to kick a field goal and beat Syracuse.
I'm glad to hear
33-30, so that's their first win of the year.
Yeah, sure was glad to see it. And, I hate to be so negative about Troy, but like you said, Mike, it's just in black and white. You can read it. I mean, their schedule. Right now, the only one team that I think that we'll have a good shot at is Texas State. Other than that, we've got a schedule that is really, really tough. So
yeah, I used to think I could pick games. Apparently, I won the tickets last time, but I guarantee I didn't win this week. I probably had my worst picking of college games in the history of college games. I lost Wisconsin. I lost Missouri. I lost Georgia Tech. I lost Notre Dame.
Oh, yeah.
I lost West Virginia. I lost Oregon. I lost Syracuse.
Oh, gosh.
I lost Florida.
That's pretty rough.
I lost Texas A&M.
Oh, gosh.
I lost UAB.
You're right.
I lost LSU. My God. I'm embarrassed.
Well, the thing is, though, is most of those games you lost, your fellow pickers would have lost too.
Yeah,
so
right.
did you lose compared to the field? And you're probably okay. So
tomorrow
I lost a lot of those.
We'll let you know who won.
I'm absolutely embarrassed. I mean, that's the worst I think I've ever picked in my life.
Oh, guys.
Well, there were a lot of upsets. I mean, you picked the favorites.
Exactly.
No, Dad, you liked Texas Tech the whole time against West Virginia.
Oh yeah, I took them and won, but
Dad liked Florida State.
Yeah.
I don't know if any of us on the show picked Auburn, did we?
I don't know. I might have. I don't know.
I thought it was a coin toss, but I picked the home team.
Let's just say this, and we've just got a few more minutes. We're waiting for the Wiley Sanders Truck Line show, and it's brought to you by Wiley Sanders Trucks, one of the great trucking companies in these United States of America, and we appreciate them so much, and also Express Oil Change. But it's going to be tomorrow's going to be a fun show. We're going to talk about a lot of these high school teams, how they stand, and more about what happened this week in college football. But you're right, Mike. A lot of things happened that were not expected, and Auburn is a team now that people are starting to look at, and Mississippi State's another team that people.
What about Kentucky?
And yeah, Kentucky's another.
Kentucky's
one.
undefeated.
You're right. You're exactly right.
Kentucky could win the national championship.
You're right, Rice. You're exactly right. They are a very good football team, it's going to be a lot of fun to talk about it, and we'll talk about it on this show. And remember this: tonight and it's free program tonight from Claudia Crosby Theater.
Oh, the tribute band, the Beach Boys.
Well, we've got the Beach Boys in town. I'm going to be there. That's going to be a lot of fun. The Beach Boys tonight.
Make sure you say Beach Boys tribute band.
I know it, but still, they're going to be singing Beach Boys songs. So if you like Beach Boys songs, it's a free concert. First come, first serve.
And Claudia Crosby Theater.
And I would say sit up close and hear all the sounds of the Beach Boys. I'm going to get there early, and I'm going to watch. Rice, you want to go with me? It's
I might take my family.
I wish they all could
yeah.
California.
Hear him sing. Have a great day, and we'll see you at the concert tonight.
Who got the singing voice in the Amos family? Oh, that's awful.